How to make $24,000 with Sam.gov. For those of you who may not be familiar with what Sam.gov is, I'm here to talk to you all about it. It's a very important portal. What you need is a cage code and a UEI, and you get that through going to Sam.gov. So one way to make $24,000 in this realm of government contracting is by taking a look at these type of opportunities that you have here, that we have in front of us. This is for portable latrines and hand washing stations is what we have here. And what's great about this opportunity is that you don't need to have a background in this whatsoever. You don't have to have a background in selling portables, anything around portables. You don't have to be. What's important is you must be able to provide what they are looking for, okay? So I want to clarify that. You just have to be able to provide what they are looking for. That's how this works. So this is a total small business set aside. And you can see that there's questions. That's quite bright. You find out there's 14 locations. What's the turnaround? 3 hours of an issue. Everything's going to be on gravel and paved roads. I mean, you can see that there are maybe 32 questions. 32 really isn't that, it's not that high of a number, okay? And you can see that some of these questions are pretty detailed, right? Question 31. So for this opportunity, they only need them, it looks like the 1st through 13th in June is for the Oklahoma National Guard. And they're basing it on lowest price technically acceptable. So while you see a lot of documents here, I want you just to breathe and understand they've laid out in front of you everything that they're seeking. They're seeking somebody to come in, provide these latrines, right? To service them during those dates. What I suggest that you do when it comes to these documents, one that I like to look at, and I think I have to share my screen, I'm going to share the pricing that they have. The reason I do this is because it gives an idea of kind of what they're looking for. So you see here, they want you to give the price for 37 and 27, and they want you to include all of the pricing. So here's where the work comes in. You go on the internet, you look for companies who offer portable latrines and hand washing stations in the Oklahoma area. That's all you do. You contact them and you put into layman terms what you want. You don't send them one of these attachments. Again, we're here to make $24,000 a month. So with this contract alone, you could potentially make, let's say it's $2,000. That means you still have $22,000 to make over the span of 11 months. And some of you may say, $2,000, is it really worth $2,000? Yes. When was the last time you made $2,000 like that? It all adds up. $24,000 is only $2,000 a month. That could be one win. You could actually make $24,000 in one win period. So you call, you put it into layman terms what you're seeking. They give you a price. You already know they're using lowest price technically acceptable, and you put your price back. It's as simple as that. I'm going to pull up another one. My point was to show you, if you guys, is when you're logged in, you see where it says sign out. So this means I'm logged in, where it says sign out. When you're logged in, you can scroll to the bottom and you're not going to have any issues seeing the attachments. You see how the attachments are all listed there? So that's a tip, is you want to make sure that you log in so you can take a look. So you can take a look at the attachments. Very, very important. You already know if it says it's $5 to $10 million, you're going to have bonding. So that's first and foremost. So if you don't have bonding, I wouldn't even worry about looking at this at all. The second thing is, unless there's multiple awardees, this is a very shiny opportunity. A lot of people are going to be interested. A lot of people are going to want to bid. Like, do you hire an existing construction company They say to avoid construction. I wouldn't say avoid construction. It's they already told you this opportunity is between $5 and $10 million. And if you don't have any past performance with the federal government doing construction, then why even bid on this? So when I look at something, I'm quickly trying to figure out, am I going to bid? Am I not going to bid? Because my goal is to make $24,000. Okay. I don't know about one that's 10,000. I want to make it very clear. That's how Sam.gov and government contracting works. You put out there the pricing. You determine what you're going to charge, what your markups are. So something you may believe is 10,000, I may believe it's 20,000, somebody else may believe it's 4,000. So this is really important. That's why your margin, your profit is the most important, because you could put in a bid for $4,000 and make 2,000. That's what basically happened with Hunter, who I recently interviewed, and his first submission, his first win was for signs, and he put in the bid for 4 and he's making almost 2,000 on it. Somebody could put in a bid for 10 and maybe only make $500. So it's very important in this space is what is your profit? Now we're going to take a step back. This doesn't mean you triple the rate. Or somebody was DMing me earlier on a catering opportunity, and they were like, well, I want to add 25%. And I said, okay, well, you can add any percent you want. Doesn't mean you're going to win. They've already told you for this catering opportunity, it's lowest price. Imagine this. You go into this Dollar General and you see some you see some Wagyu beef for $200 a pound. How many people are buying that? Nobody is going to do that because that's not the target market. Are people interested? Would other markets, like if you put that in a Whole Foods, people would potentially buy it. If you put it in that one, I don't think it's skipping, Barbara, it's because I don't have a voice. And then Fiery said, I would assume something's wrong with it. So unless it's that store, that fancy store in California, which was part of like a fashion show recently, they could get away with it. Or if you're seeking that type of meat, there's no reason. People would totally pay that amount of money per pound. Maybe that's a deal. The thing to keep in mind is when you're bidding and you're pricing to make $24,000, it's about not only your profit, but also you have to think of what are you selling. You got to look into what you're selling and who the agency is buying. So going back to the catering example, it's catering for 5 days. So they ended up getting 3 quotes. I'm not going to disclose their numbers just in case anybody else here is bidding on this. So they said it's for 150 meals, breakfast and dinner, totaling 150 meals, breakfast and dinner, totaling 1,200 meals over 5 days. Okay. So I asked what was the evaluation criteria. In other words, how are they going to make their decision? She said, I think it's a she, this person said they're going to make it based on price, right? Going back to my analogy. So with this, they asked if they could add 25% profit to this. And I said, you can add any profit you want, but it goes back to what is this agency willing to pay? And they already told you it's lowest price. If it's lowest price, they're not going to buy the Wagyu at the dollar store. So instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to win this and make $20,000. So instead, look at it like, what can you make? What is the margin? Let's say this person made $1,000. That's amazing. That means they only need to make 23,000 more to get to 24,000. And isn't that really cool that because they said it's for 5 days. Wouldn't that be great that over the span of 5 days, you end up making $1,000, $2,000? Let's say you made $5,000. That's a lot of money. And sometimes I get pushback. People will say like, well, but what about the profit? I don't know. I wanted 50%. And it's like, let me ask you and be honest with me. When was the last time you made legally $5,000 in 1 week? Let me know. When was the last time you legally made $5,000 in 1 week? So then why scoff at only adding $5,000 to the bid? Why? Why is it, well, they gave me a price, I'm just making up a price quote. Let's say a company gave a price quote of $60,000. So now you want to add $60,000 to it? I mean, who is paying $120,000 to feed people? No one is doing that. So I just ask that you all take a step back, you pause. Sometimes you just got to have a moment. You just really have to say, what is the bigger picture? How would your life change if you brought in $24,000, $2,000 a month from government contracting? You don't have to drive Uber. You don't have to do Instacart or Publix delivery. You don't have to do any of that. So when you're pricing, I know that there's people out there that are like triple it, double it. I'm not taking away from that because there are times when that plays out. Okay, so a couple things. One is, so instead of thinking about, man, I gotta double, triple, quadruple. I gotta get my money. I gotta, they told me it's gonna cost 20. I'm gonna make it 52. I'm not saying that doesn't work. Like Chrissy, who you've probably seen her interview, she's in the Facebook group, and I'll give you all a link for it. She recently won something, and I think her cut is 6 figures. Is that possible? Of course it's possible. I have contracts where I make 6 figures every month though. Just keeping it real. I want more of those kind of contracts, not just a one-time cash grab. So that's why starting off where you're like, yeah, profit every month, but you got to start somewhere. So that's why I like to put out there that it's okay if you're bidding on something and your profit's 10%. I know you guys got the ads. This is all new. So just take that step back and think about that. Like right now we're in the running for a training gig. Our cut is 20%. It's still something. It adds up. Thousands add up to hundreds of thousands. That's what I want you to keep in mind. So the $24,000 goal is not, I'm going to bid on these portables and I'm going to jack up the price. Because when it's lowest price technically acceptable, they're looking for the cheapest. They have that dollar store mentality. So just keep that in mind. Government contracting is a viable option. You can easily make $24,000 in 1 year in government contracting. Like, this is no lie. This is not a get rich quick scheme. I've had a lot of people say that, oh, Kizzy, you make it seem like get rich quick, or no, I'm not saying this is get rich quick, but who doesn't want an extra $24,000? Everybody does. Everybody wants an extra $24,000. So if you can bid on fans and make $2,000, then why not? If you can bid on pavement and make maybe $5,000, then why not? $24,000 is not about get rich quick, but $24,000 will add a lot of different things and blessings to one's life. And that's what people don't understand. The other way you get to $24,000 in 1 year on Sam.gov is you have to hunt. You have, when I say hunt, it's going on here and scrolling. We all have no problem doing it when it's Kendrick Lamar and Drake. We have no problem doing it when it's Suki and JT, Cardi and Nicki, or a boxing match. This is another good one. So why can't you do it here where you can make $24,000 in 1 month? There's no reason you can't. I agree with what Malcolm said. You got to contact your ethics. You got to contact HR. You got to take care of that. I don't know if you can use ChatGPT to write a whole proposal. I agree. We do. Florida Panoramic, we scroll for entertainment. But then it's like, there's too many attachments. I can't read. You can read. You just got to open them. Society's working on shortening our attention span. I got it. So you can see that there was an optional site visit, and then you have to see if they will allow more site visits or if you can still bid on it. And they're letting you know, look at that right there. It's between 250 and 500. You could probably make 24K just off of this. Let's say they say you find a company, and again, I don't think you're going to need bonding for this because it's paving. Let's say the company, let me tell you what I would do for this one right here. I'm going to tell you what I would do. I would find a company who could do this for $175, and I would put my bid in at $199. That's what I would do. Market research does not mean anything. It's like, I love roulette, and you go to the roulette table and it tells you the number and maybe the color of the previous spin. That's pointless. In roulette, every new spin resets the statistics. Just because they told you it's 250,000, that don't mean nothing. I would go under it, but still add on 24, 25K, because the goal we're talking about today is 24,000. I love and adore each and every one of you. I appreciate you. I'm here for you. winnerswritebook.com. So don't give up. You all got this. Everything is possible. Like, subscribe, hit the notification. Okay, bye you guys. Take care.